Ethan, joining the show now, he's the owner of Buffalo Biodiesel, and he's coming on the show to talk about a really weird thing that happened last week, or at least we think it's weird, but we found out it's a lot more common. There was a fry oil theft in Bethel at Famous Pizza, and the owner of Buffalo Biodiesel joins us now. This is Summit Majumdar. Is that how I pronounce your last name?
That's correct.
I got it on the first try.
Nice
Hey,
going,
Summit.
Mo.
There you go.
How's it going, man?
It's not bad, not bad. Thank you for inviting me on to your show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we heard about this a fry oil theft at this Bethel establishment called Famous Pizza, and I wrote an article about it because you all had published on your YouTube page a video of the theft taking place, and we thought it was really interesting. We started speculating as to why someone would want to steal fry oil, and is there a black market, and all these things. And you got in touch with me. Why don't you tell folks how prevalent this problem is?
Right now, it's starting to balloon into a much larger problem than it was a few years ago. What we have our company is based out of Buffalo, New York, but we collect oil in about 12 states. So we have about 18,000 or so locations that we service. And what we've got is we have around 3,000 locations, mostly towards the eastern seaboard, that are being broken into on a regular basis. Jeez. So from our standpoint, it's about 15 to 20,000 break-ins in the last year and a half to 2 years.
Now, what is, I'm sorry, because I probably should have established this first. What is, but before you continue, your service? You come in and take the old fry oil and pay these restaurants for it?
Yeah, exactly. So our service is to collect. We basically provide a container, and we contract with the restaurant owner to collect their cooking oil, and then we give them a small rebate for it, and then we backhaul that material to our processing facility here and then process it, and then off it goes into fuel production or biofuel production.
And now, so you say this is really prevalent. It's ballooning. The problem's ballooning. You and I spoke off the air, and I remember this term coming up a couple of times. You said the folks connected with these thefts based on, the records that you've obtained from police departments. You use the term bad hombres. Can you talk about that?
Oh, sure. So first of all, you have to be a bad person to steal. I mean, I can't solicit employees and put them on payroll and say, by the way, here's some wire cutters and bolt cutters, go and steal from someone. So you have to bring in people that are already willing to steal or to burglarize equipment. So those are bad hombres. Then what ends up happening is our business is very different from, let's say, a pawn shop business or a scrap metal business. You could go and steal a wristwatch from someone and, sell it at a bar or go to any, jewelry store or pawn shop and they'll buy it from you. Grease is very different. You require someone to refine it. Then it's got to get through a production facility and then turn into biofuels or animal feed. Typically, it's biofuels. So you've got to have a party that will accept it. Then they're going to clean it, paper the product up so that way it can get through distribution. Then they've got to have processing, and then after that processing, then they have to have manufacturing. Of course, manufacturers aren't going to touch anything that doesn't have the proper paperwork to go with it. So it's very complicated. It's very organized. And then what you find is some of the people that have been arrested, they've got a background in many cases, drug dealing. There's not simple petty criminals in many cases. Some of them are, but some of them aren't, and those are the bad hombres that I'm talking about. And then the money's big. So for one of the arrests that we had, you've got a guy operating in a van, which is very similar to the one that you saw at Famous Pizza, and they are selling the material with cash receipts for about $2.84 a gallon. So to make a long story short, one guy in a van, which is this person in particular, not a Famous Pizza, but from that other arrest, is making between $1,000 and $1,500 a day. So what that turns into, if you extrapolate that, it's about $400,000 a year for just one dude in a van, and that attracts the wrong type of people. People in vac trucks make even more. So they're making, if they have a 2,000-gallon vac truck, They fill that. It's about $5,500 a day. And if they have a larger vac truck, it could be $7,000. That's why you'll find in the larger vehicles, there's 2 or 3 men teams or women teams, as we've seen, and they're making an awful lot of money. So this is the problem with the industry.
So from our conversation, I gathered that early when these thefts started to balloon, you were trying to get law enforcement, wherever this happened, to take it seriously. Like a theft has taken place here, and it's bigger than you realize. Is that starting to change?
I think we're having a difficult time. In Connecticut, we're actually a little bit lucky. The AG's office put an inspector on that's actually a bit of a crackerjack. He's actually involved in one of the arrests and the prosecution. That's a rarity. They just don't take the crimes that seriously. They don't see the exposure as to how this is attracting bad hombres. That's what we're talking about, because the money's so big. And this isn't simple, scrap theft where someone's, selling $80 or $100 worth of scrap to get whatever it is that they need to buy. This is different. This is organized crime on its face, and there's a lot of money involved in this. So I think what ends up happening.
That's the thing that I find so interesting in talking to you is, of course, it's your business. You're going to want to know as much as you can when the thefts take place. And as Summit is following this trail, he's seeing that there's a lot of people making a lot of money all the way up, suggesting that this has to be some sort of organized crime outfit or multiple that's behind it, right?
Oh, sure. And organized crime, just from that standpoint, is if you have a business front, that's where RICO comes into play. This can only be moved through a business front. There's no other possibility because grease is such it's a product, it's a unique product that requires a lot of touching before it's saleable. And it's not something you just put in the back of your truck and just drive around saying, hey, you want to buy 500 gallons of grease? I mean, that's just not going to happen.
Are there people, maybe business owners, who are complicit in this, who are being or maybe being intimidated and just giving it up?
I think you got variables. So you have different groups. You have some restaurant owners that are, diehard law abiders. They're the ones who are going to, and that's why we're concerned. We had one guy in Dutchess County. He was getting robbed. He confronted the thieves, and then he pursued them in what would be called a high-speed type chase. And then the sheriff arrested them because he called 911 and was following them. You get that type of person. Then you get another group where they just don't want to be involved. There is victim intimidation. There's a lot of bail reform problems where people are issued appearance tickets. And I've heard, at least in one particular instance, where people were visited after the appearance tickets were issued, and the intimidation occurred. And then you have complacency, where you have people that will take money directly from the thieves because there's so much money involved. Many of the times they're paying people within the restaurant. Typically, it's not the owner; it's the dish boy or the kitchen manager, or perhaps some other management person, and they're being paid off $50 or $100 cash. Hey, give me a call when the stuff is full. I'll come pump it out, and I'll lace your hands with some cash. So you got 3 different groups there, and who knows? Each situation is unique, but normally the ones that participate with law enforcement, provide them the video, call the police. They're the legitimate ones, and then it goes downhill from there.
See, I just found this fascinating. I mean, here we are. We're going like, someone stole fry oil. We think it's funny. Like, look at that. What are they going to do? Make pizzas?
Sure.
They're going to make French fries with it. How are they going to sell it? Is there a secondary fry oil black market going on here? And the fact of the matter is, it turns out to be a big deal, right?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, I have you've seen those big Folger coffee?
I knew this was
the big Folgers containers, the huge ones you can get at Costco. I've got one loaded up with fry oil because I don't know where to throw it. I mean, how much is that worth?
Yeah, he wants to sell it to you.
Oh, that's the problem. It's not worth anything. It's actually garbage or waste material. It's only after it's refined
I gotcha.
does it become worth anything. Kind of like your cardboard. You know, you're throwing cardboard out.
Yeah.
Well, someone's got to shred it, process it,
Right,
repulp
right.
it, you know, what have you. But it is a raw material.
So if I put it up for sale,
but,
no one's going to buy it. I got you.
You know, probably not. But if it was refined, to make it a long story short, say it's a gallon container,
Right.
which is what it sounds like. It's $4.50 around there. You know, buy a hot dog.
There you go.
You know?
So, if people want to get more information on this, can they find it on your website? Is there a directory? Is there a state, website where there's more information on it?
Actually, it's not, but we are putting up a website, cookingoiltheft.com. It hasn't gone up yet. And then what we've got on our Facebook, we have a gallery of the break-ins. We're just populating it now. This is also something, I've been in business 16 years, and, you know, setting up a theft department wasn't one of those things. So we've hired a journalist to come in to start blogging and start creating awareness. And that's really what the problem is. There's a lack of education. You think, hey, someone's stealing the oil to put in their John Deere, and I'm fine with that. Actually, I'll give the oil away to anybody who's putting in their truck. But the bottom line is you've got organized crime that's coming in. People are making millions of dollars off this stuff. You're bringing in some bad people that are touching it, and bad people, they don't like to give up their money.
Summit
really what it comes down
Majumdar
to.
of Buffalo Biodiesel. We got to run, but we thank you for your time, and
Sure.
We appreciate the education. I'm going to be in touch with you soon, okay?
I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Fascinating. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.